first glance, this may look like your average Subaru BRZ, but that's not quite the case. In fact, this one in particular is called the 2020 Subaru BRZ TS, and it's the rarest car we featured on this YouTube channel. They only built 300 of them. See, what happened here is that Subaru's motorsports team, STI, got a hold of the BRZ. Now the guys at STI work almost exclusively on all-wheel drive rally cars, vehicles that need to handle extremely well. So what they've done here is they've taken the BRZ and they've glued it to the ground. This is the left pedal, and today we're going to check out the Subaru BRZ TS. If we've learned anything over the last few decades, it's that Toyota gets around. You might notice that the BRZ is a lot different than anything else Subaru offers, and that's because Toyota is its daddy. Inspiration for the car was the Toyota AE86, a little rear-wheel drive hatchback from the 80s. The AE86 wasn't the fastest car on the road, but it was a cheap, fun car that could carve out the corners and slide through tight bends. In 2013, Toyota and Subaru came up with a new car that was built solely to uphold that same spirit. They released a collaboration under 3 separate models: the Scion FRS, the Subaru BRZ, and the Toyota 86. For those that wanted something a little more high-end, Subaru developed the Special Edition TS model, which stands for Tuned by STI. Only a few hundred of these exclusive, sport-focused models were built each year, making them extremely collectible cars. So we've driven a lot of very cool cars in this series, but you may have noticed they've been a bunch of automatics. So today we have an actual 6-speed transmission. The last sports car we reviewed was the Jaguar F-Type, which is, you know, a very impressive vehicle. This Subaru feels more like a race car than the Jaguar did. And obviously, that was a much more powerful vehicle, but this feels like it belongs on a track. If you were to get on like an autocross track with one of these, you could just absolutely dominate it. What's it yelling about?
It's me.
Oh, is it the seatbelt?
Seatbelt.
The car doesn't look all that much different than a regular Subaru BRZ. It's got subtle red stripes on the grille and on the back. The big giveaway is the wheels. STI equipped it with a set of lightweight 18-inch wheels and some much stickier Michelin tires. The interior got a big upgrade with these unique red leather trimmed seats and seat belt and red accents on the doors and steering wheel. It's a good looking interior. Front and rear suspension are both upgraded with handling in mind. The chassis is stiffened with an A-frame added to the engine compartment, and the only transmission they offer is a 6-speed manual. It's a pure performance car. When they first released the upgraded TS, a lot of people were actually angry about it. By far, the most requested upgrade was more horsepower, but Subaru chose to keep the engine exactly the same. So rarely do you get an opportunity to really push a car. You know, in high-powered sports cars, you're never really finding the limit of the vehicle. But in this thing, you don't have to let up off the gas. I'm not gonna say that this car wouldn't be fun with a high-powered engine. That just wasn't why the TS was built. The mission wasn't to create a more powerful car. It was to create a better BRZ. They've basically done all the modifications to the car that people do themselves at home. Suspension, brakes, chassis strengthening, wheels, these are common upgrades. Except that this one was modified by the people who spend all day every day making Subarus faster. They didn't make a lot of these cars, and the ones that are out there were clearly built for dedicated enthusiasts.
This BRZ TS, a 3-year lease on the previous BRZ, another 3-year lease on a BRZ before that, a Subaru Legacy GT. That was a monster. Every single one of those vehicles was standard transmission. My driving style's pretty mellow. Just doing country drives. The 0 to 60 off the line is not what you're driving this car for. This is the kind of car where you want to get off the highway and find some country roads to go and hit, where you can just put the cruise on. Even if you want to cruise along 45, you can hit those corners and don't have to worry about taking the cruise off. The car just handle the corners.
The car was created by passionate people for passionate people. And Tony is a guy that very clearly loves his car. This is for the people who want that little edge over every other BRZ on the road. Tony said that to really feel the difference between the TS and the regular BRZ, you need to push it pretty hard. Unfortunately, we weren't going to be able to do that in city traffic. Lucky for us, children apparently don't go outside anymore. And the empty parking lot at this baseball field looked a lot like a racetrack. So, let's get down to business. The car gets from 0 to 60 in 6 seconds with a top speed of 143 miles an hour. Decent numbers, but you're gonna get passed on the straights. That's not what this car is built for though. The TS is a corner carving machine. It's almost unrealistically planted in the turns, and acceleration stops mattering so much if you can keep your speed up. At only 2,800 pounds, it's a lightweight vehicle, and you can tell, it acts like a go-kart. The front springs are far more stiff than the standard BRZ, making the TS model less of a slidey drift toy and more of a purebred sports car. The larger wheels and tires provide an immense amount of traction, and the big Brembo brakes allow for complete control in the corners. Yeah, it's only got 200 horsepower. But someone had to build the best 200 horsepower car. Subaru stepped up to the plate. And that is why the BRZ TS is an instant classic.